Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll show you a period psychological thriller film, Perfume, the story of a murderer. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. In the 18th century Paris, well-developed maritime navigation boosts global trade, and industries and commerce thrive. In a wet market of a squalid slum near Paris, a fish vendor gives birth to Jean. He is not her first infant born at work. Jean is motionless at birth, with no even a breath. Thinking he must be another infant born dead, the fish vendor discards him and continues her work. But Jean makes a loud cry when he smells the stink smell of the wet market. Since this moment on, his life is tightly connected to smells. Accused of abandonment of her infant, the fish vendor is later hanged. Raised in an orphanage, Jean has a tough life. But he is particularly obsessive about the scents, caring not much what a freak he seems to other orphans. Logs, fruits, leaves, and even water, everything in the nature has its scent, which fascinates him. At the age of 13, Jean is sold to a tanner for 7 francs, as the orphanage owner regards him as a burden. But she then is killed by the robbers. Life is not any better in the tanners. Jean keeps toiling for over 10 hours every day. Reveling in all kinds of odors, Jean dreams of crossing the river one day to explore the world of aroma. His first travel to Paris delivering leather with the tanner changes his whole life. The hustle and bustle town has all kinds of scents of soldiers, vendors and horses. But the most delighting ones to Jean are the scents of upper-class ladies. Someday, Jean's captured by one distinctively enchanting scent mixed with hormones. His supernatural sense of smell leads him to the origin, a young lady with chestnut hair, who has a pair of clear eyes on her innocent face. Deeply obsessive about her scent, which is too magic for words, he follows her and takes in her scent greedily. Later, he puts his face into her hand and licks her ball-shaped palm, which startles the girl away. Jean follows her smelly hormones, chases after her, and catches her in the alley. He shuts her mouth to avoid being heard, but suffocates her by accident. To his surprise, her amazing scent fades as her breath weakens. He then strips her body naked to better smell her. But the scent soon disappears. Jean then makes up his mind to learn how to preserve scents. Baldini is an Italian perfume maker in Paris, who succeeded in making a couple of amazing perfume formulas when he was young. But his creativity dries up as he grows old. When Jean delivers leather to Baldini, in the basement, he reproduces the scent of Love and Soul, the former fashionable perfume with some improvement. Shocked by his incredible talent for discerning scents, Baldini buys Jean from the tanner for 50 francs. After the deal, the tanner is surprisingly hit by a fast-moving carriage on the bridge, causing him to fall down to the river and be drowned. Those who abandon Jean are seemingly doomed to die of accident. Jean starts to work at Baldini's perfume workshop. He revitalizes the perfumer's business with amazing new formulas, and he also learns more knowledge on perfume. One night in his dream, Jean sees the girl again, whose body and hormone odor he revels in. When waking up the next morning, he asks Baldini to teach him how to convert scents into perfume, and promises he will create the best formulas for him in return. Baldini agrees gladly. The next day, baskets of roses are shipped to them. Baldini begins to teach Jean the skill of preserving scents. They dump the roses into a distiller and captures the scent through steam distillation. Baldini also proudly talks about Grasse, the town of scents, reputed for world's finest perfumers. The refining of rose essential oil continues late into the night. The next morning, Jean finds some iron chains, glass pieces, copper blocks, and even a cat. He distills them one by one till late into the night, but he gets no any refined oil. Hearing Jean's desperate wail, Baldini rises from the bed to see what is going on in the basement. He angrily tells Jean that no any living being's odor such as theirs can be refined through distillation. The reality is so cruel that Jean faints to the ground, as it is the meaning of life for him to capture wonderful scents. Had he known how to preserve the body odor of the girl with chestnut hair, it would not have vanished along with her death. Lying in bed seriously ill, Jean asks Baldini how to preserve humans' odor. Baldini answers he can learn the mysterious enfleurage process in Grasse. His words bring hope back to Jean, and he recovers in just a week. Before Jean leaves for Grasse, Baldini demands Jean provide him the recipes of 100 finest formulas. This day is the happiest day ever for Baldini. He lies in bed happily, holding the notebook written with recipes of 100 finest formulas. However, he never wakes up again. It is a long journey to Grasse. Excited by every kind of scent from the endless wildness, Jean can't rest his mind. Exhausted, he enters a dark cave to sleep. When he wakes up inside the dark cave, Jean smells himself and is surprised to realize that he has no any body odor. He is puzzled, since even a worm has its own scent. Body odor is the soul of life, yet he has no soul and is still alive. This fact poses a huge challenge to his knowledge. Without odor, there will be no any trace of his being in the world. He ponders over and over, and decides that creating the best ever perfume will prove not just his existence, but the existence of great worth. So he strides toward Grasse. Upon arrival, Jean catches another magic hormone scent of a girl, as fascinating as that of the Paris girl. It comes from a girl, who also has chestnut hair. Richie's, daughter of the famous and wealthy businessman, lives a graceful and delicate life. Her beautiful and pure body has a charming odor. Grasse is the town of scents, with flowers growing in every piece of field. Lavenders are picked up in the field, and sent to the perfumers, to extract essential oil by enfleurage. When Jean has learned this new skill, he starts his plan of making the world's best ever perfume. One night, he hunts his first game, a girl who meets her hormone partner. Jean strips her off, and puts her into the oil vat directly, without hormone let go. But he fails in extracting her odor. His next prey is a prostitute. Jean kills her brutally. He cuts off her hair, soaks her body in coconut oil, and then refines the odor by distillation. This time he succeeds in preserving the body odor. The town of Grasse is covered in panic, as one girl after another are missing. Jean's ambition is to make 12 bottles of individual scents, by refining body odors of girls, so that he can make the best ever perfume, as Baldini told him. At Richie's birthday party in her father's luxury manor, Richie's comes to the lawn, to play hide and seek with the twin sisters. Jean catches the twin sisters away, but leaves Richie's alone, as he decides that she will be the last 13th scent. This time he improves the process, by soaking the twin girls with coconut oil, wrapping them with cloth, and then refining by distillation. The essential oil extracted by the improved process has a stronger scent. The scents begin to show the irresistible magic of changing people's mind and mood. The raged foreman, who attempts to beat Jean, becomes kind once smelling the drop of the scent. To fill up the 12 bottles, Jean needs more body odors. So he continues his cruel slaughter of beautiful girls to capture their scents, turning Grasse into a town of horror. Although curfews are enforced and security measures are strengthened, more girls are killed. At last, Jean has filled the 12 bottles with 12 individual scents, but he has one more empty bottle to fill up. And his last aim is unluckily the hormone-smelly Richie's. People are attending a sermon in the church, when a safeguard rushes in, and declares that the murderer is caught. Released from panic, people come out to the streets and cheer, unaware that the man is just a scapegoat for law enforcement. Vigilant and unconvinced, Richie's father decides to leave Grasse with his daughter by ship. The night before departure, he takes Richie's to sleep in a roadside inn. Jean tracks her scent, and sneaks into her room. He cuts off her hair and extracts her body scent. With the 13th bottle of scent filled, Jean realizes his ultimate ambition. He succeeds in making the magic best ever perfume in the world. However, the prostitute's dog traces her smell to the place where her body was buried. And more corpses of the missing girls are dug out. Jean's evil slaughter is exposed. He is captured and tortured, and the death penalty is announced. On the day of his execution, the execution ground is packed with a furious crowd. With shackles on the hands and legs in the custody, Jean holds tight his bottle of magic perfume. The moment he removes the bottle lid, his whole body smells an enchanting, exotic scent, which dispels the rage of the escorting guards. Jean puts on the blue suit of the foreman's and steps into the blue luxury carriage offered by the escorting guards. Upon his arrival at the execution ground, the furious crowd fall into the spell of his enchanting smell. They look at him with admiration and yearning. When Jean comes onto the guillotine, the executioner takes off his mask, kneels down in front of him, and shouts to the crowd that he is innocent. Jean applies a drop of the perfume over his handkerchief and waves it toward the crowd. When the enchanting scent permeates the air, for a moment, the crowd are speechless with their mouths open. They stretch their arms toward Jean, calling him the hormone angel. Even Richie's father, who is the most resentful, forgets his revenge. The perfume endows Jean the essence of innocence and beauty, and arouses people's desire for love, turning the execution into an orgy. Another scapegoat, the foreman, is convicted for the murders and executed. Returning to Paris, Jean now has the most powerful tool in his hand, the perfume, which can control people's desire for love and hormones, and would definitely give him the power to go, to see, to conquer. However, he chooses to come back to the wet fish market, his birthplace. He pours the whole bottle of perfume down from his head, and the nearby poor people, hungered for the lofty scent, go on a rampage and swarm to devour him up eventually. In such a way, he disappears from the world. All that is left are his clothes and the empty perfume bottle. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Bye.